Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have finally done it. We have reviewed every single movie in the MCU. Well, almost. I'll do it when it's out on Disney+. Before the release of Ant-Man and the Wasp, director Peyton Reed said that the film left a lot of elements to play with, particularly in regards to the quantum realm, wanting to explore the possibilities that the concept offered. So basically, he saw Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man No Way Home, and he thought, hey, that looks kinda odd. I can do that shit too!
That was weird.
However, there weren't any concrete plans in place to make a third Ant-Man film, but the cast and crew remained hopeful that the series would in fact continue. Eventually, Reed was officially signed on to direct a third Ant-Man film in November 2019, with Rudd, Lilly, Douglas and Pfeiffer all returning, and filming scheduled to begin in January 2021. Jeff Loveness, yeah, there was no love in this film,
we should be dead,
was hired to write the script and began working on it by April 2020. But due to the COVID pandemic, it wasn't clear when production would actually begin, though the filmmakers continued to develop the story during the wait. Loveness said that he wanted the film to mainly be about the relationships that Scott and Hank have with their respective daughters, drawing inspiration from Hook and Father of the Bride, and also said that he wanted this to be an Avengers level event, rather than the palate cleanser that the first two films had been. You mean, watchable?
Ouch.
When it came to casting new characters, Jonathan Majors was selected in an unknown role, later revealed to be the film's main villain, Kang the Conqueror, who would be set up as the overarching villain of the next phase of the
I'm sorry.
However, Majors was actually approached by Marvel after the producers saw his performance in The Last Black Man in San Francisco. Sounds like Trump's wet dream.
How did you know that?
And they cast him without him even having to audition. Majors said that he hopes the character would be remembered alongside Loki, Thanos and Doctor Doom as one of the greatest villains in the Marvel canon.
I'm sorry.
And said that his performance was inspired by Iago from Othello and historical conquerors such as Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan and Julius Caesar.
Caesar is a salad dressing dude.
In December 2020, it was announced that Catherine Newton had been cast as Scott's now teenage daughter Cassie, who had originally been played by Emma Thurman in Avengers Endgame. However, Thurman wasn't even told that she had been recast, and she only found out when Marvel announced it on Newton's Instagram. Ouch. Bit douchey.
I got that, yeah. Thank you.
Bill Murray was also announced to be appearing in the film because why wouldn't Bill Murray be an Ant-Man? Having apparently been interested in participating in the MCU for quite some time, even phoning Catherine Newton personally to ask if he could come on board. I mean, he spent so many years fucking over Ghostbusters 3, may as well do the same to Ant-Man 3.
That doesn't make sense.
Murray had initially no interest in being in a superhero movie, and stated that he only asked to take part due to being a fan of the director's film Bring It On. However, some changes had to be made. Due to sexual harassment allegations made against T.I., who played Dave in the first two films, it was decided that Luis and his friends would be written out of this film completely, as well as Scott's ex-wife and her husband, and they're not even mentioned. Oh no, this is terrible. I'm very torn up about it.
I don't believe you.
Filming began in Pinewood Studios in April 2022 and ran until January the following year. And other than an outbreak of norovirus amongst the crew, production was fairly smooth. However, just 2 months before the film was released, the script was leaked onto Reddit by an anonymous user, causing Marvel to issue a cease and desist letter to both Google and Reddit in order to stop plot details from spreading across the internet. Now exactly where was Tom Holland at the time of this incident?
what the hell?
Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which sounds like an episode of the Flintstones. Coming up next, Thor Hammerpalooza was eventually released on February the 17th, 2023, and at first, the movie seemed to be another hit, grossing $105 million in its opening weekend. However, the earnings then dropped by nearly 70% in its second weekend, ending its entire run with a gross of only $474 million against a budget of $200 million. Just to break this down, this means everyone flocked to the cinema to see it that first weekend, then went and told all of their friends how bad it was, and it became a complete flop.
None of this should have happened.
To make things worse, reviews were extremely poor. The performances and Majors in particular were praised, but the story, humour and CGI were all criticised. Many labelling the film an all-time low for the MCU. It seems that after nearly 15 years of non-stop success, the Marvel formula was starting to wear thin, and superhero fatigue was kicking in. Despite Kevin Feige claiming that this movie is vital in setting up the next Avengers film. In regards to the possibility of a fourth one, both Rudd and Reed expressed hope that the character's journey would continue, while Michael Douglas said that he would only agree to come back if his character was killed off. Really selling the movie here, aren't you, Mike? The movie also features the character of MODOK, who almost wasn't in the film at all. Marvel had been wanting to introduce the villain into the MCU for a while, but his introduction kept getting postponed. Reed only included the character after realizing that there was no explanation as to how Kang already knew of the Pyms and Langs, so he only included MODOK as a way to explain this. No explanation as to how the fuck he knows the Avengers, though.
You're not the one with the hammer.
I mean, his character lives inside the quantum realm and has done so for decades. How the fuck would he know who the Avengers are? Yeah, after 2 movies hyping up the quantum realm as this dangerous and psychologically scarring place, this doomed land you never want to go because you'll be tormented beyond belief and you'll be unable to control your thoughts. It will drive you completely insane and you will be on the brink of death and insanity. Turns out it actually isn't half bad. Yeah, apparently Janet had a whole life down there here with a bunch of locals. Yeah, there's a whole neighborhood. They have barbecues and bingo halls and everything. She was a pilot. She screwed Bill Murray a bunch of times. I'm not kidding.
Really? Him? He used to be charming.
But that guy?
I was down here for 30 years, Henry. I had needs. Oh my God.
Your mommy is full of secrets.
I don't think I have ever seen a sequel completely undermine its predecessors to this degree. Everything established in the first 2 Ant-Man films, everything established in Endgame, all completely gone. The quantum realm is such a lovely place. Bring your kids along, fun for the whole family.
There's quantum people in the quantum realm?
Yeah. I didn't know that either.
Probably because it's fucking stupid. And if time travels differently there, then how did 30 years pass both in the quantum realm and the real world for Janet? Make up your mind!
Damn it, Janet.
I think the annoying thing is, it does actually have quite an interesting setup. The Avengers have kind of disbanded, and we saw Spider-Man becoming overwhelmed with the fame and popularity as everyone assumes he's taking charge. But here, it's the complete opposite. Still, nobody cares about Ant-Man. Half of them don't even know who he is.
Thank you, Spider-Man.
Even his daughter's a dick to him.
Yeah, you're welcome for all not being dust.
And what do you do now? Sign books? You know, if I had something like this when you were gone, and I could have found you.
It's okay, a fucking rat did. And wait, why the hell is Ryan Bergara from BuzzFeed Unsolved and Watcher in this?
Let's keep that between us.
But that's about all it has going for itself. The message of the movie is that Scott has to prove himself as a real superhero to the public, and the ending seems to suggest that he's achieved that, but he quite literally saved all of them from the quantum realm in complete secrecy. This doesn't work, what the fuck? In order for this to make sense, he would have had to pull off an Avengers and save everyone in public. Why is he a hero now?
No clue.
The movie has no originality. Not only does it want to be Doctor Strange with the imagery, not only do they want to be Alice in Wonderland with the sets and green screens, but they want to be Star Wars so bad you can almost smell George Lucas's cum dripping over the camera. Look at this and tell me they don't want to be Star Wars. They even have a Star Wars shootout. He even uses the motherfucking Force! And they even steal Star Wars dialogue!
I don't have to win. We both just have to lose.
I don't care if you win. I need Kylo Ren to lose.
I'm not joking! They steal lines from Indiana Jones, and not the good one!
Her name was Linda. It didn't work out.
What went wrong?
She wasn't you, baby.
There must have been plenty of women for you over the years.
There were a few, but they all had the same problem.
Yeah, what's that?
They weren't you, honey.
What are you stealing from Indiana Jones for? They even have portals like Doctor Strange. They even steal from Piers Morgan.
You identify as Broccoli, or?
I am Mr. Broccoli, yes.
And even when they're not directly stealing lines from other franchises, they write such cliche bullshit that you've heard a million times before.
When I steal something, I usually know what I'm stealing.
You'll know it when you see it.
My whole life happened because I messed up. The only thing I didn't mess up is you. Let's go home.
But I'll give them 1 point for making fun of other cliches.
Thanks, Scott. You always were a brother to me.
I was?
Fair play. Shut up. And I am genuinely surprised the acting performances were praised because everyone looks bored out of their fucking minds. Michael Douglas doesn't seem to give 2 flying shits at any point in this film. Michelle Pfeiffer is wishing she was back on the set of Grease 2. That's how bad this is. Even Paul Rudd looks like he wants to die. How do you ruin Paul Rudd? Look at him. What have you guys done? Even Bill Murray doesn't want to be there, and he made Garfield. The new Cassie is terrible. Her father is being tortured and her life is being threatened, and she barely even emotes. Act, you bitch! Unfortunately, I do agree that Jonathan Majors is the highlight. He really tries with this performance and gives it his all, but he has nothing to work with. He's also making it seem like a much more epic film than it actually is. He delivers all of this cringy dialogue, but from the way he acts, you'd think it was fucking Shakespeare.
Janet stole something from me. My ticket out of here, and you're the only one who can steal it back.
Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I do get a laugh.
I'm such a dick.
It's never too late to stop being a dick.
But that's it! It's just another cannibalistic tribe kidnapping the hero story. And it turns out Janet is friends with this tribe. Yeah, she just decided to never mention this at all in the last few years because she's a dildo and we need to rip off The Empire Strikes Back as well. Hell, they even do a gag of multiple Scotts at the same time. Take your fucking pick. Toy Story 2, Pirates of the Caribbean, Harry Potter. They even rip off ants. This blockbuster Marvel movie is stealing from ants. Well, I guess it makes sense in this film. But no, it's stupid and this movie deserves to be punished for it. I am not taking any of this seriously.
Hi, I am Feb. You just drank me.
I did what?
Oh, do you need some more ooze? Here, I can pour some ooze into your
No,
hole.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Wow, a big hole. How many holes do you have? I'm sorry, is that a personal question? I don't have any holes.
And for a movie called Ant-Man and the Wasp does fuck all! It's mostly Cassie! How the hell do you make one of the title characters completely inconsequential? Up next, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, but Lightfoot stays at home and makes pancakes!
He can be very persuasive.
Look at this, is this Ant-Man or the fucking Power Rangers? Or Spy Kids? And I am not taking this villain seriously. Are you alright? Look at it! My friend showed me a screenshot before I saw the film and I thought they were taking the piss and had photoshopped me onto the image. I don't care what this nut job says. Look at him. This is an evil villain named Darren. Even they know he can't be taken seriously.
Just now noticing the baby legs.
They're not baby legs.
A little bit like a Bjorn.
They try to fill in the cracks and give Janet a backstory for her time here, but it doesn't work when they built it up as her being in a horrible dark place, tortured for 30 years, and now they're backtracking. Yeah, I'm just gonna call the director J.J. Johnson. Yeah, I guarantee this was just because people pointed out that Janet came out a lot more sane than she actually should be. It's a desperate attempt to cover up a plot hole and it's still shit.
The longer you're in there, the more your mind will come undone.
Well, it's supposed to be, but I'm guessing the writers snorted some cocaine and forgot about that. Way to make the heroes of the last 2 movies into complete pussies. Ants invade the stupid quantum realm. This is ridiculous. It's like an episode of the Tweenies.
From the ant farm?
Yes, Scott, they're my aunts.
I'm gonna shove my penis into a toaster!
But the family I've lost taught me to keep fighting. And if they were here, they would too. We need to look out for the little guy. My dad taught me that.
Yeah, you try and give Cassie this big sentimental speech with the fucking broccoli man watching on. See how that works out for you. Yeah, have a giant ant, and then Loki's alive! Which is another instance of you having to see the TV series to understand, because otherwise you're like, what the fuck? How is Loki alive? Unless you're gonna remember that tiny throwaway moment where he vanished in Endgame. But it further cements my point that if Thanos can timeline jump and be alive, if Gamora can timeline jump and be alive, if Loki can timeline jump and be alive, why the fuck is Tony, Natasha, and Vision still fucking dead? This movie is duty stains. anytime I think they've hit rock bottom, they somehow manage to dig even deeper. The effects are abominable, the humor is forced, the acting besides Majors is horrendous, the dialogue is AIDS, the villains are boring, the action is cliche, it's everything wrong with the MCU all rolled into one. And Darren is the fucking villain with his stupid face. The first two weren't great, but this one takes everything they established and wipes its ass with it. Any suspense for the quantum realm is destroyed. Any charm with the Wasp is gone. Nobody wants to be there, including the audience. It's a fucking miserable disgrace, but it's not 9 hours long, so it's slightly better than Eternals. It's a shame that we set out to review this entire saga and we had a pretty solid start. I'm glad I did this as I got to experience some truly historic movies and... Jesus Christ. But it seems after Endgame, the franchise took a dip. Sorry, scratch that. After Infinity War, the series took a dip. Spider-Man seems to be single-handedly carrying the saga at this point. Phase 4 was a massive disappointment, and now Phase 5 doesn't seem to be off to a great start either. The MCU isn't over and is only going to continue, so I will do my best to review them upon release to keep up to date, because Lord knows you all enjoy my misery. But for now, we have reviewed 31 of the movies, and hopefully number 32 won't be very long away. I thank you all for joining me on this journey. I hope you enjoyed this series, and I will see you next year for another Summer of Venom. The effects are abominable. The effects are abominable.